Good afternoon for everybody. My last name is Italian, but I'm sorry I cannot speak Italian. And so my goal here is to, let's see, okay. It's supposed to be here or not? No. So my goal here is to try, like my last speaker here, to tell you how is Brazil in that situation about IoT. How is our role in this world? So just to talk a little bit about Brazil, Brazil is a big country, 3 times the size of India, 200 million of inhabitants. And we have our economy is the 7th in the world. It's just between United Kingdom and Italy. So we are in this scenario. And even our economy is not growing so fast the last 2 years. In the ICT area, we are growing very fast. And mostly because Brazil, people is very open to newities. So innovation for new things. We are quite an open people that embrace very quickly anything that is new. That's why back in the 80s, we start to do our income tax all by internet. So things that is completely impossible for all the banks. So anything that was new, people in Brazil embrace. So that is, of course, a reason why in IoT we will be almost the same guys, embrace new things in that area. So how is our focus on policy in this area? So easily first find some areas where we can be competitive, not only users, innovate and developing new products, developing new service, be part of the international market. And the second focus, of course, is to improve the areas we are already, high competitive in the world, in the market, in the world market. And because our huge population is not all in the good side of the life, so I do believe that we need also improve quality of life for our citizens. And again, one thing that is very, traditional in the government in Brazil is really to be partner of the private sector and do things together and exchange ideas. And we're going to have this opportunity to listen to my colleague that's the IoT forum in the country that exchange ideas and policy proposals for Brazil. So, of course, any kind of policy needs to have some kind of value to investments, to decisions from the government. And this study of Cisco gives to us for the new future some big numbers that justify any investments that the country should make for developing IoT. So we can see the numbers are very interesting, and we can have those balance for citizens, facilities for citizens, improve the life of our citizens, and the other side, giving facilities for the issues that we are involved, especially in big cities like ours. How we do policies in Brazil? We are in ICT field like IoT is. We have this, tripod that is involved 3 ministries and this facility for the private sector involved on this discussion. And all of this is supported by the developing bank and other, economic players. And about the bank, we're going to have my colleague here from the Developing Bank of Brazil that will talk in the next panel. So I'm not expert on that. So what is our focus in Brazil regarding IoT policy? So our strategy, as I said before, with those focus is talking about enable technologies, so focus on ICs and the sensors, and then make a better use of technologies already developed, already in use, and make that interchangeable. And the other side is focus on the user side, which are the fields of applications, and of course, those we have a huge competitiveness, like agribusiness, aviation, and energy, and those where I can use and develop new issues for improve life of our citizens as smart cities and health. So, just talking a little bit about Enable, we are focused on microelectronics for more than 15 years now, focused on design capability. So we have now 22 IC design centers in Brazil, 2 design centers in manufacturing and so on, focus on developing solutions. We have also some of those with patents around especially for some smart cities issues and agricultural points, but those are the 2 areas. Sensors, we have 11 startups for smart issues developed by, startups. Company in the startup program in Brazil. We have those 11. There is a support legislation for IPs, for, even for grants for support those startups organizations to, make sure that we're going to have good solutions in the near future. So, everybody knows that Brazil is #1 in many commodities in the agricultural world. So it's natural that we're going to focus on that. So we already have some good solutions. We have more than 400 specific software for this area. And together with the software, we are focused on developing specific issues for control, especially for precision agricultural, soil, seed distribution, a lot of equipments for agriculture equipment and animals in general, and for a baseline for this agricultural environment, we are also talking about erosion, about the level of floods in rivers, in channels, how to control that, and transport and foreign contamination, and our boards. Our boards is quite open in the South America, so it's a challenge for us to deal with the contamination and blah blah blah. So there is some area that we are really putting some money, some effort to deal with. So another one, we are the third company for manufacturing aircraft in the world. It's interesting because Brazil is not so knowing about high technology and so on, but in the aircraft industry, we have this third company in the world that manufactures aircraft. So to add value to this big competitive industry that we have, we are also developing some issue for, handling, electronics for handling, and land services, and some avionics that is specific for some issues. So there is something that Brazil is also focused, also developing. There is even Boeing have put a research center together with this our company in the same area. I'm a chair of a research center that is working with that, and so it's something that we are really focused as a policy in the country. So, for the other side, because of our population, we need to give them more access, less cost, and more quality of service of health to our population. So it's another area that we are focused on developing solutions for hospital gateways, for patient privacy. Our colleague just said about the privacy by design and not privacy just for when the things already happen, it's too late. So I'm also a member of ICANN. So I'm deeply involved in security and stability of the internet. So that is the problem for after the things happen is a little too late to do something. So it's something about we are talking about and developing some. It's not the biggest developing area in Brazil. So we are nowadays focused on, put some effort to bring more solutions for our problems over there. So for a smart city in the other way, we are having really some good pilots around, some good example. My colleague will talk more about. But I would like to talk about the University of São Paulo model for all cities in the country. It's a very referential model. Like that, for one side, working standards for interoperability, and for the other side, the level of communication. And we also develop a metrics for that. But let me go back a little bit. And this referential model is talking about how each area that is involved in smart cities needs to be instrumental and to have sensors, to have softwares, to have everything connected to that, from drinking water, for thunderbolt, for gas, for parking, fauna, flora, everything that is connected to that. And then you have a control for each area, and then a coordination system and a coordination software structure that is the whole architecture of this smart city model, and the decision level that is more for the governments and so on. So that is, and to prove that is working, that is the impact matrix. The impact is planned to guarantee that when you move one thing for that, it is interconnected for the other side, and the impact is taken into account too. So this is the whole matrix. Sorry, it's in Portuguese, some words, but it's all about what the seat is. Each issue inside the city is connected to the other, to analyze each impact from one side to another side. And to make it happen, this is University of São Paulo, one of the five campi that University of São Paulo has. So because the University of São Paulo has those big numbers, most of them is more than many cities around the world. So we have The total camp is 76.3 millions of square meters. And in the phase 1, we are focused on campus 1. And this campus 1 is 4.517 millions of square meters and 50 kilometers of roads and 50,000 persons circulating every day and everything like a big city inside. So we already started this 2 years ago. I'm also a professor in the University of São Paulo. And we started this in the manage of this campus two and a half years ago. And we focus on lightning, power, interconnection of power and balance of power among the laboratories, the groups, the research centers, the trees. We have connected, and each tree has an IP, so we can control the trees, the life of the trees, how safe they are, what they needed, when need to be pulled, and everything. And also for dogs. Why dogs? Dogs because the campus is quite open. And because they are open, the dogs go and come back, abandoned dogs. And it was a problem for how to feed them and how to control disease for them. So they put a chip in each one. They are controlled by IP, and everything that they can be fed, they can be disease control, be shot to the vacuums and those kind of things to make sure there is no problems around the population inside the university. So the lighting is completely done. Those trees, it is 5,000 poles. It's not the smallest one. And nowadays in Brazil, we have a very, very huge bid running in São Paulo city with 561,000 poles. It's a big, big billion of dollars of investment in this area. So a lot of small groups are offering some solutions, and the big ones are partners with the government to do this, modeling issues in the whole city. And we have also a patent for lighting solutions and this kind of things. So there is a very huge opportunity for the development of smart cities, because together with the lighting, we have security solutions, cameras and something like that. So there is a lot of opportunities. There is just a light and security that we can see for one side, for the other side of the street, that when we start to change the quality and the security for the people walking in the nights and so on. So there is one of those things, it's our idea of have a model to give to the other cities around, because there is a law start with lighting. Lighting inside these small cities, it's a facility that can start a smart city. So all the things in the poles can be done, control buses, control transport, traffic, control security, and a lot of things that you can set up in a pole. So there is a law that in the end of this year, all the cities in the country, and we have 6,665 municipalities. So 6,000, yeah, that is a big number. And all the numbers, they will just transfer from the power operator to the community, to the cities, the improvement of the control of lighting and the possibility to save energy, to start to interchange energy. Interchange energy is nowadays in Brazil a very common issue. Many manufacturing plants are interchange the energy they have, they are not using in the big auction area, in the internet area, you know, a web internet dispute that you can buy and sell energy. Nowadays, it's just for operators and for the manufacturing companies. But in the near future, we're going to have this, of course, people selling their energy that they are not using on that. So mostly is what I'm here to talk about, to tell you about what's going on in Brazil, how we are dealing with IoT, and I'm sure my two colleagues in the rest of this day will go more deeply in some issues around, but this is an overview what is going on IoT in Brazil. Thank you very much for your attention.